2:43 a.m., January 17, 1991, Baghdad time. Major Greg Feest peers at the infrared image on his multifunction display. Below him, somewhere in the darkness of the Iraqi desert, is an intercept operations center, a bunker that controls all the air defense radars in the Baghdad area. His target, the first target of Operation Desert Storm. He's flying an F-117 Nighthawk stealth fighter, completely alone. No fighter escort, no Wild Weasels clearing the path, no rescue helicopter standing by if something goes wrong. Just him, his aircraft, and two 2,000-pound laser-guided bombs. If the stealth technology doesn't work, if one Iraqi radar picks him up, if one SAM locks on, he's dead. No one is coming to save him. He's 150 miles inside enemy territory, approaching the most heavily defended city since Hanoi in the Vietnam War. Feest uses his fingertip target designator to bring the crosshairs over the center of the bunker. He releases the button. An invisible laser bursts from beneath his aircraft's nose, painting the target. The bomb drops away. And then he waits, watching, listening, waiting for Iraqi air defenses to light up, waiting to see if they can see him. They can't. The bomb hits, the bunker explodes, and Iraqi air defenses open up, firing frantically in every direction. They have no idea where he is. The stealth worked. Feest would later say, "Iraqi forces didn't fire a single shot in my direction until the bomb hit, and then they were firing frantically in every direction. They had no idea where I and my black jet were." That moment, 2:43 a.m., January 17, 1991, changed warfare forever. Because for the first time in history, an aircraft had penetrated the most sophisticated air defense network on the planet without being detected, dropped a bomb with precision, and escaped without a scratch. This is the story of the first night over Baghdad, when 10 F-117 pilots flew alone into hell and proved that stealth wasn't science fiction, it was the future. To understand what these pilots faced, you have to understand what Baghdad's air defenses looked like in January 1991. Iraq had one of the most sophisticated integrated air defense systems in the world, French-designed, Soviet equipment, thousands of anti-aircraft guns, hundreds of radar-guided surface-to-air missile batteries, 76 SAM launchers around Baghdad alone, nearly 3,000 AAA guns, SA-2 guideline missiles, SA-3 Goa missiles, SA-6 gainful missiles, SA-8 Gecko missiles, layers of overlapping coverage designed to make Iraqi airspace a killing zone. The entire network was controlled by KARI, a centralized command system that could coordinate multiple SAM batteries, direct fighters, track hundreds of targets simultaneously. It was the most advanced air defense network outside the Soviet Union. And it was all focused on Baghdad, Saddam Hussein's capital, the heart of his regime, the one place he absolutely could not afford to lose control of. Coalition planners knew that if they were going to win this war, they had to blind Baghdad on the first night, take out the command centers, the communications hubs, the air defense headquarters, cut off Saddam's ability to see what was happening and coordinate a response. But how do you attack the most heavily defended city in the world without losing half your aircraft in the process? The answer: F-117 Nighthawks. The F-117 was America's first operational stealth aircraft, designed in total secrecy in the 1970s by Lockheed's Skunk Works. First flight in June 1981. Operational capability achieved in October 1983, and kept completely secret until November 1988, 7 years of flying combat-ready aircraft that officially didn't exist. The jet's design was revolutionary. Faceted surfaces, flat panels at specific angles, designed to deflect radar waves away from the source instead of bouncing them back. Radar-absorbent materials coating the entire airframe. No curved surfaces, no right angles, everything angled to minimize radar cross-section. Ben Rich, director of Lockheed's Skunk Works, famously walked into the Pentagon and rolled a marble across the table. That marble, he said, had a larger radar signature than the F-117. But revolutionary design doesn't guarantee combat success. The F-117 had seen action exactly once before Desert Storm, Operation Just Cause in Panama in December 1989. The mission didn't go well. Pilots got confused about targets. Bombs missed. It was far from a ringing endorsement. So when Major Greg Feest and 9 other F-117 pilots took off from Qami's Mushat Air Base in Saudi Arabia on the night of January 16, 1991, they were guinea pigs, testing whether stealth actually worked, against the best air defenses in the world, over the enemy capital, at night, with the whole world watching. No pressure. The mission briefing was stark. 10 F-117s would strike targets in and around Baghdad, each aircraft flying alone, single-ship missions, no formation flying, no mutual support, you're on your own. The targets were critical: the AT&T building, a telecommunications center in downtown Baghdad, the Iraqi Air Force headquarters, the Ba'ath Party headquarters, air defense control centers, command bunkers, the intercept operations centers that coordinated radar coverage across Iraq. Each pilot would carry 2 GBU-27 laser-guided bombs, 2,000 pounds each, designed to penetrate hardened targets, bunkers, reinforced concrete, underground facilities. The flight plan was carefully calculated. Takeoff from Qami's Mushat, 650 miles south of Baghdad, high in the Saudi mountains near the Yemeni border. Refuel twice from KC-135 tankers over Saudi Arabia. Navigate by GPS, still new technology in 1991. Approach Baghdad from multiple directions to confuse air defenses. Hit your target within 1 second of the planned time. Every aircraft synchronized. A coordinated strike designed to overwhelm Iraqi commanders, with simultaneous attacks across the city. And above all, maintain radio silence. No chatter, no coordination calls. If you get in trouble, you're alone. If you go down, rescue will try to reach you, but you're deep in enemy territory. Your odds aren't good. Major Feest's target was the first to be hit. At 2:51 a.m., 9 minutes before H-hour, the official start of the air war, he would destroy the Intercept Operations Center southwest of Baghdad, cutting off Iraqi border radars from the Central Command System, blinding them. 9 minutes later, at 3 a.m., the other F-117s would hit Baghdad itself. Feest took off in darkness. The weather was terrible. Clouds blanketed Saudi Arabia and swirled north into Iraq, visibility near zero. The moon had already set, pure instrument flying. He rendezvoused with his tanker, refueled, headed north, alone. We had practiced a lot, Feest said, and we had become very good at finding a target and hitting it exactly on time, within 1 second. But practice over the Nevada desert is different from flying into combat over enemy territory. Every pilot flying that night knew they were testing an unproven concept. Stealth had never been validated in large-scale combat. If Iraqi radars picked them up, if the stealth coding had degraded, if the radar cross-section calculations were wrong, if Iraqi operators got lucky, the mission would fail, and pilots would die. As Feest approached his target, he scanned his instruments. All systems green. The infrared targeting system showed the bunker clearly, a dark shape against the cooler desert sand. He compared it to intelligence photographs strapped to his leg board. Positive identification. He armed his weapons, slewed the crosshairs over the center of the target, released the button, the laser fired, the bomb dropped. 2:43 a.m., the first bomb of Operation Desert Storm. Feest watched the infrared feed, waiting, 4 seconds, 5, 6. The bomb hit, direct impact, the bunker exploded. And then the sky lit up. Iraqi air defenses opened fire, tracer rounds, surface-to-air missiles, anti-aircraft fire in every direction, thousands of rounds, hundreds of missiles. The Iraqis were shooting blind, firing at where they thought aircraft might be, but with no radar contact, no targeting data. Feest was already turning away, heading south. Untouched, undetected, the stealth had worked. 9 minutes later, at 3 a.m. Baghdad time, 8 more F-117s arrived over the city. CNN correspondents Bernard Shaw and Peter Arnott were broadcasting live from the Al Rashid Hotel in downtown Baghdad. They'd been covering Iraq's state of alert all evening, waiting for the war to start. At 3 a.m. they heard it, explosions, air raid sirens, anti-aircraft fire lighting up the night sky. "Something is happening outside," Shaw said on air. Peter, get us." Another explosion, closer. "The skies over Baghdad have been illuminated," Arnott reported. "We're seeing bright flashes going off all over the sky." What Shaw and Arnott couldn't see, what no one in Baghdad could see, were the F-117s, flying overhead, invisible to radar, dropping bombs with precision on the most critical targets in the city. Major Jerry Leatherman attacked the AT&T building. The telecommunications center General Buster Glosson had personally designated as a high-priority target. The building housed fiber-optic switching equipment that connected Baghdad to the rest of Iraq and to the outside world. Take it down, and Saddam loses his ability to communicate with his military. Leatherman's wingman had already dropped the first bomb, punching through the roof. Leatherman came in 60 seconds later from the northeast, dropped his pair of F-117 straight through the hole the first bomb had made. The first bomb went a little low. The second was dead on. Together they demolished the top 4 floors. The building collapsed. Other F-117s hit the Iraqi Air Force headquarters, Ba'ath Party headquarters, Air Defense Control Centers, Rashid Airfield, 2 of Saddam Hussein's presidential palaces. Precision strikes, surgical, devastating. One F-117 pilot later described the experience. "When you're still several miles out, the city is an indistinct collection of infrared splotches. With a fingertip, you slew your crosshairs over the general location of your target. As you approach, you can see the city much more distinctly on your multifunction display, just like a black and white photograph. Getting closer, you can see major boulevards and the river. You know your target is east of the river and north of a main boulevard. You find it, you lock on, you release. And the entire time, Iraqi air defenses are firing blindly into the sky. Thousands of rounds, hundreds of missiles, none of them guided, none of them tracking F-117s, because Iraqi radar operators can't see anything. The F-117 pilots could see the anti-aircraft fire, tracers arcing through the sky, SAMs launching from sites across the city. It was terrifying, but none of it was aimed at them. It was defensive fire, shooting at where aircraft might be, hoping to get lucky. Iraqi forces were firing frantically in every direction, one pilot recalled. They had no idea where we were. All 10 F-117s completed their missions. All 10 returned safely to Saudi Arabia. No aircraft hit, no aircraft damaged, no losses. The stealth had worked perfectly. The results of that first night were staggering. Of the 60 laser-guided bombs carried by F-117s that night, 49 were released. 11 pilots didn't drop because they couldn't get positive target identification or weren't confident their weapons would guide properly, a testament to the discipline and precision required. Better to bring the bomb home than risk killing civilians. Of the 49 bombs dropped, 28 hit their aim points. Most of the misses were at outlying targets away from populated areas, but in downtown Baghdad, the most heavily defended area, the hit rate was much higher. 30 F-117s attacked 37 high-value targets in Iraq during the first 24 hours. That's less than 2.5% of the coalition's tactical aircraft. But they struck 31% of all targets hit on day one. Think about that. 2% of the aircraft, 31% of the targets. Without F-117 striking Baghdad that first night, blinding Iraqi command and control, taking out air defense nodes, cutting communications, coalition aircraft would have faced the full weight of Iraq's integrated air defense system. Thousands of radar-guided missiles, thousands of anti-aircraft guns, 800 fighter aircraft, all coordinated by a centralized command network. Instead, by dawn on January 17th, that network was shattered, command centers destroyed, communications cut, air defense operators working blind, disconnected from central command. The F-117 had done its job, and done it so well that for the rest of the war, coalition aircraft operated over Iraq with near impunity. 3 days after the first night, General Norman Schwarzkopf held a press conference. He wanted to show the world what precision air power looked like. He pulled up infrared camera footage from an F-117 attacking a hardened storage facility housing Scud ballistic missiles. The pilot, name not disclosed, placed his targeting crosshairs on a 1-meter-wide air vent on the roof of the building. The bomb dropped, the camera tracked it all the way down, and then, perfectly, the 2,000-pound bomb threaded through the 1-meter vent. The entire facility exploded from the inside. "This is my counterpart, the Iraqi Minister of Defense, his headquarters," Schwarzkopf said, showing another strike. "And the headquarters is in the crosshairs and now in his headquarters." The bomb hits. The building collapses. The room erupts in applause. That footage became iconic. It defined the Gulf War for millions of viewers: precision, overwhelming technology, dominance. But what those viewers didn't see was the courage it took to deliver those strikes. The pilots flying alone into the most defended airspace on the planet, trusting technology that had never been proven in large-scale combat, knowing that if stealth failed, they were dead. The F-117 flew 1,300 sorties during Desert Storm, dropped over 2,000 tons of bombs, struck 1,600 high-value targets, flew over 6,900 hours, and did all of it with a mission-capable rate of over 85%, remarkable for an aircraft that required intensive maintenance to preserve its stealth coating. Throughout the entire war, not a single F-117 was shot down. Not one. They flew into Baghdad, the most heavily defended city in the world, repeatedly, and came home every time. The pilots who flew those missions knew they were part of history. They were proving that stealth wasn't just a concept. It was a revolution, a fundamental shift in how wars would be fought. Major Greg Feest, the pilot who dropped the first bomb, would go on to become a major general. But he never forgot that night, flying alone into Baghdad, watching Iraqi air defenses light up the sky, and knowing that they couldn't see him. "Every time I lowered that canopy and watched that sawtooth-shaped leading edge close tight," one F-117 pilot said, "I felt like a knight lowering his helmet's visor in preparation for battle." The F-117 retired in 2008, replaced by newer stealth aircraft, the F-22, the F-35, the B-2. But its legacy lives on, because on the first night over Baghdad, 10 pilots proved that the future of air power had arrived. And it was invisible. If you knew an F-117 pilot or served during Desert Storm, share your stories in the comments. And subscribe to Gulf War Chronicles for more untold stories from the war. Until next time.